Maya. The rain-soaked asphalt beneath my feet turns slick, threatening to betray my footing, but fear drives me to ignore the slippery surface. My breaths come in ragged gasps and my lungs ache with every inhale, but I can't afford to slow down. I know I must separate from Jonah, give us a fighting chance to escape. As we part ways, my heart wrenches with both relief and sorrow. I trust that Jonah knows what he's doing, but the fear of losing him fills me with a cold dread. I need to focus on my own escape, and the only way out is through the fifth corner. It's a risky plan, but I have no other choice. Present day. I find myself strolling the streets of Houston today. Well, let's be honest, it's more like aimless wandering. The word roaming would imply a sense of direction and purpose, but I must admit that I'm merely trying to reacquaint myself with this town that once felt like home. Once upon a time, I knew every nook and cranny like the back of my hand. I could navigate the winding alleys and shortcuts to reach almost anywhere in town. But that was then, and this is now. Time has a way of reshaping places, and as I look around I can't help but notice how much has changed. New streets have appeared, leading to unfamiliar corners of the city. Tall buildings now tower where small shops once stood, and the landscape has shifted beneath my feet. As I walk, memories from my past begin to resurface. I see flashes of laughter and shared secrets with Eric as we explored this very neighborhood together. We were a dynamic duo, inseparable in our adventures, but life had other plans for us, tearing us apart and sending us on our separate journeys. I pause at a street corner, trying to recall the exact route that used to lead us to our favorite hangout spot. But the details slip through my fingers like sand. I feel a sense of nostalgia that washes over me. I miss the days when I knew this place like the back of my hand, when every street held a story and every building felt like a familiar face. Now I feel like a stranger in my own hometown. It's not just the physical changes that have disoriented me, it's the feeling of being disconnected from the life I once had here. I have changed, and so has this city, and I'm not quite sure where I fit into this new picture yet. My meeting with Eric last night was a gentle wake-up call. It shook me enough to make me want to do and be better. He, like me, had lost so much, but he didn't let any of that deter or derail him. He built a successful company from the ground up and is now better off. I don't necessarily covet his immense wealth. I mean, it'd be nice, but I crave the stability and direction. I'm more than ready to move past the dream me and my brother had, of restoring the Ravens to their former glory. Well, actually, it was Jonah's dream, and quite frankly, I only followed him out of a sense of duty. I loved him and my family, plain and simple, but all of that has now run its course. I just want to be at peace and make something out of myself. I had a lot to think about when I was locked up, and I came to the conclusion that the path Jonah and I were on could only end in one of two ways: tragedy or jail. Unfortunately for us, we got both. My walk around town led me down an unfamiliar path. Strangely enough, I could barely recognize any of the landmarks here, but the moment my eyes landed on the rundown building at the end of the street, it all came rushing back. In that haunting flashback, the alleyway becomes a blur of adrenaline-fueled desperation. My heart pounds in my chest, the rhythmic thumping almost drowning out the sirens echoing through the narrow streets. With the weight of the stolen cash strapped to me, every step feels like a heavy burden, but I push myself onward, knowing that my life depends on it. The rain-soaked asphalt beneath my feet turns slick, threatening to betray my footing, but fear drives me to ignore the slippery surface. My breaths come in ragged gasps and my lungs ache with every inhale, but I can't afford to slow down. I know I must separate from Jonah, give us a fighting chance to escape. As we part ways, my heart wrenches with both relief and sorrow. I trust that Jonah knows what he's doing, but the fear of losing him fills me with a cold dread. I need to focus on my own escape, and the only way out is through the fifth corner. It's a risky plan, but I have no other choice. The gunshots shatter the night air like exploding shells, sending shockwaves through my entire being. My legs falter and I stumble, my heart sinking as the pained cries of my brother reach my ears. Panic grips me, and I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of darkness. My mind races, searching for a way out, but all I can think of is Jonah lying wounded, maybe even dying. The thought of losing him, my last remaining family, crushes me. The policemen close in, their stern faces a grim reminder of the dire situation I find myself in. With my hands pinned behind my back, I feel a sense of resignation settling over me. Nothing else seems to matter in this moment of despair. The cuffs might as well be chains, imprisoning my soul along with my body. Grief and guilt consume me as I'm forced to the ground, the wetness of the pavement seeping through my clothes. The tears that fall mix with the rain, unnoticed by those around me. Everything I had done, every choice I made, led to this moment of loss and despair. Present day. My heart pounds in my chest as I think about my brother Jonah and how he died. The memories threaten to overcome me, but I take a deep breath, fighting back the tears. I can't let myself fall apart now, not after all I've been through. I made a promise to myself when I left that prison cell, a vow to make more of myself now that I have regained my freedom. It's not just about walking out of those prison doors, it's about embracing this second chance at redemption and honoring Jonah's memory. I close my eyes briefly to try to steady my emotions. I know I can't change the past, but I can choose how I move forward from here. I want to break free from the darkness that consumed us, from the path of the crime and violence that led to Jonah's death. As I stand in the present, I feel determination rising within me. Jonah would have wanted more for me, to see me thrive and live a life of purpose and goodness. I owe it to him to make the most of this opportunity, to break the cycle of the destruction that we were trapped in. My fingers clench into fists, a silent promise etched in my heart. With newfound determination, I vow to make the most of my freedom, to rise above my past and forge a new path. Perhaps it was time I finally visited Jonah's grave and paid my respects.